Hey there. So you've probably heard of witch hunts. Maybe you picture a bunch of angry villagers with pitchforks chasing a woman who owns a cat and drinks herbal tea. Or maybe you think of the Salem trials, people screaming, "Witch!" at their neighbor for sneezing weird. But what if we told you the real story is way less about magic and way more about boring dudes being scared of women? Welcome to history class, but the unhinged Gen Z version. Let's break down how centuries of paranoia, religion, and straight-up insecurity led to one of the most absurd chapters in human history. Setting the scene. Europe, 1400s, 1600s. Witch hunts weren't just a Salem thing. They were a whole vibe across Europe. Germany, Scotland, France, anywhere that had too many churches and not enough chill. Between 1450 and 1750, around 40,000 to 60,000 people were executed for witchcraft. Spoiler, most of them were women. Bonus spoiler, most of those women did absolutely nothing wrong. The Catholic Church and later Protestant reformers both decided that any woman with opinions, herbs, or a loud laugh was probably in league with Satan. Because of course she was. What else could explain a woman knowing how to treat a fever? Who got accused? Let's talk profiles. The witch was often a poor, older woman, maybe a widow, sometimes a healer or midwife. Basically, someone outside the patriarchy's control. In other words, society was like, you're not a wife, mom, or nun, jail. One famous case, the Würzburg witch trials in Germany, 1626 to 1631. Over 900 people were executed. Some were children. Some were priests. At one point, even the executioner's own wife got accused. It was an unhinged MLM scheme of death, the science of fear, and mass hysteria, TM. Here's where it gets trippy. Psychologists call this moral panic. Basically, people start freaking out over a perceived threat, real or imagined, and things escalate faster than a group chat with bad Wi-Fi. People thought crop failures equal witches, cows died equal witches, someone got a rash equal witches. Your bread was moldy? That's not bad hygiene. That's Karen from down the street casting spells again. Historians believe that ergot poisoning, from moldy rye bread, may have caused hallucinations that fed into the hysteria, like people were literally tripping while yelling "witch" at their neighbor. Salem. America's favorite panic attack. In 1692, Puritans in Salem, Massachusetts turned neighbor-on-neighbor suspicion into Olympic-level paranoia. 200-plus people were accused, 20 were executed, and one poor guy, Giles Corey, was crushed to death with rocks because he wouldn't confess. His last words? More weight. Iconic. Why did it start? Bored preteen girls. Yes, really. Combine that with repressive religion, isolation, and land disputes, and boom, murder via gossip. Why men were the real problem. Hot take. Witch hunts weren't about witches. They were about control. Religious leaders, insecure men, and angry mobs all needed someone to blame for society's failures. And women who didn't fit the mold? Easy targets. It wasn't just fear of the unknown, it was fear of independent women. Even today, we use witch hunt to discredit real accusations and silence voices. So maybe we haven't moved on as much as we think. So next time you see someone labeled too emotional, too outspoken, or too much, just remember, that's the same fear dressed in modern clothes. Subscribe for more cursed history, where the only spell we're casting is wake up sheeple.